Hi, I'm Izzy, and this is Dizzy Quilts and Sews. In today's video, we are going to piece and quilt block number 8 in our sampler quilt along. This one is called Square in a Square, and we are going to learn how to quilt paisleys all over our block. So let's get started. All right, so here's what we're going for. This is square in a square. We're going to need 2 fabrics, so one for your middle square and one for your corner triangles. So here's what I'm going to go with. My 2 fabrics are going to be this cute little cactus print and the blue kind of leafy print. This is going to be my middle square, and these are going to be my outside triangles. And then, of course, you're going to need a 14-inch square piece of fabric for your back, and then a piece of batting that's 14 inches square as well. All right, so I'm going to set this aside for now. And what we need to cut is from the fabric that's going to be the middle of the square, you need to cut a 12.5-inch square. And then for the fabric that's going to form your corners, you need to cut 4 6.5 squares. Like I've done throughout this quilt along, I'm going to put all of the cutting instructions and measurements down in the description box below. So refer to it when you're getting ready to cut your fabric. Don't forget to press these flat before you cut. And I'm going to go ahead and cut my fabric and be right back. All right, here we go. So here's my 12.5-inch square. And mine is directional. So all of the cactus or cacti are pointing that way. But for now, it doesn't matter because I'm going to put a square in each of the 4 corners. It's going to matter when I go to set it inside the quilt. So when we go to piece our blocks together, for now, it doesn't really matter. So what you're going to do is you're going to mark a line diagonally from point to point. And let me get my pen. Hold on. All right, so make sure I'm in the frame. So I'm going to mark a line corner to corner. And I'm going to do this for all 4 squares. And then you're going to place the square in the corner, exactly in the corner, like this. And you're going to stitch right along that line, maybe a thread inside, so towards the inside corner, so that after you stitch, when you press this over, you're going to be pressing right on the line. All right, so you're going to do that for all 4 corners, but you need to do these one at a time, or you can do the opposite corners. So I could put my other square down here and then stitch like this. We're going to press to the corner and then, trim at a 1/4 inch and then press over like this. And then when you've had your 2 done, you're going to do the 2 opposite corners. All right, so make sure you mark your 4 squares, stitch them in the corners, trim to a 1/4 inch, and then press your triangle over like this. And then when your block is done, come back here and we'll go to the next step. All right, so here we go. So before I show you the finished block, you will have ended with a bunch of triangles like this, right sides together. You can keep these. You could sew them together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, open them up, and end up with half square triangles, and you can use that in another quilt. So don't throw these away. Keep those aside for a little bonus mini quilt, if you will. All right, so I've got my 14-inch square of backing fabric. I've got my 14-inch square of batting. And here is my finished block. How pretty is this? All right. So now we're ready to quilt this beautiful, beautiful block. I'm going to grab my pen and paper, and we are going to practice the quilting design we're going to use today. All right, so the quilting design we're going to do today is called paisley. So we are going to free motion quilt a bunch of paisleys all over our block. So I'm just going to really quickly show you what the design looks like. So starting in a corner in the batting, I'm going to come and do like a teardrop, come out the same side, go around again, and then do a third ring like this. So there's our paisley. Once I'm here, I can go off here and start a new one like this, come out on the same side, around, go in here until I hit some stitching, stop, bounce back, go around, and stop here. And here's my second paisley. Looking a little wobbly, but that's okay. All right, now if I want to come here, after I do my third ring, I'll come out for a fourth one, and then I'm in the right spot. So I'm going to come here, start a new one, bounce out, and then start a new one. Like this, and then start new ones. Now you can go large, like what I'm doing, like this, or you can do small ones. So coming out here, I'm just going to do a tiny one, like this, and then go again. Now I'm off in the batting over here, so I'm just going to do as if my paisley finishes off the quilt, like this. All right, and you can travel, like if you don't want to put a paisley here, just travel to make a ring over here, and then do a small one over here. And there we go. And now I'm going to make a new one here. Like this. And then I can just travel again, stick a tiny one in this negative space here, and then one over here. There you go. So this is basically what this is going to look like. I encourage you to vary the size of your paisleys. Just do some medium ones, then throw in a large one, and then do a few small ones in the negative space or in the corners. Now your block is fairly small, right? We're not working with a whole lot of real estate here. So if you need to quilt off into the batting, break your thread, stop, and then start in another area, you can do that. You can do that on a small block. It's not ideal, but you can definitely do that. If you're quilting a large quilt, I don't know that you always want to do that. It's best to just keep quilting in the area. But if you find yourself stuck in a corner, just go off in the batting, either travel around your block in the batting and start in another area, or just break your thread and start over again in another area of your block. All right, so this is what we're going for. So let's go over to the machine and get this done. All right, so I'm at the sewing machine. I've got my free motion quilt, my free motion foot on the machine. My feed dogs are down and my stitch length is at 0, right? Because we are controlling the fabric. The feed dogs are not in play here at all. So I'm going to start just like we did in the batting. I'm going to put my needle down and then I'm going to bring it back up again and pull on the thread so that I can get my bobbin thread up on top of the fabric. I'm going to put my needle back down again. My foot is down. I don't have my gloves near me, but I'm just going to hold on to my quilt sandwich as best I can. And I'm going to start quilting. So a few stitches in place. And then there we go. My first paisley, first ring, out, back in and out again, and back in. All right, so here's my first one. Now I'm going to go off on this side, and I'm going to do another paisley. In and out, and in, and then, all right, another paisley. I'm going to go for a bigger one now. Okay, you notice I'm going fairly slow. There's no rush here, but I'm keeping my hands at the same pace as the needle. All right. Okay, one last one in the corner on this side. I'm going to go for a medium size this time. Ring 2 and ring 3. All right, I'm going to go for a 4th ring just to get myself out of this corner. And here we go, throwing a new one. There we go. Now I'm going to go for a 4th ring again just to get myself out of this corner. There we go. So now I'm going to go and travel this way. All right, and now I'm just going to keep going. Now, check the tension on the back once in a while, because going in curves like this is probably the hardest thing to do, because you can end up with very, what looks like very loose tension on the back, and it's really not the tension that's the problem, is that your hands are not moving at the same speed as the needle. So if your hands are moving at the same speed of the needle on the back side, you're going to see perfect stitches. You're not going to have any loose anything or what we call eyelashes on the back. It's going to be beautiful. So if you're noticing that your stitches on the back look very loose, or they looks like eyelashes almost, then check your speed. Either speed up your needle or speed up your hands so that your hands and the needle are going at the same speed. we go. All done. Look how pretty that is. Love it. And on the back, it's looking pretty good, but let me show you what I mean by eyelashes. I wonder if you're going to be able to see it. So here, hopefully you can see this. There are a few stitches where obviously my hands and the needle were not going at the right speed or at the same speed. So I've got some stitches here that look a little loose and look like eyelashes. That's what I mean. If your entire block is like that, then yeah, it's not a tension issue. It's definitely a speed issue. And there you go, a beautiful, beautiful square in a square, quilted, hopefully you can see that, with beautiful paisley designs all over. Again, perfection is really not what you're going for here. If your thread matches your fabric, all you're gonna see is just a gorgeous texture, and yeah, it's all good. If you have any questions about either piecing or quilting this block, please make sure you leave them in the comments below. I always answer questions really, really quickly. Thank you so much for stopping by. We only have one block left in our sampler, and then we start assembling our block. So make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss the next time I put a video out for this quilt along. Thanks so much for stopping by. Please give the video a like on your way out if you liked it. Thanks again, and I will see you soon.